Hello, right, well, the other day we went off and picked up 2 mystery boxes. Can anyone guess what might be inside them? Well, obviously, the 2 Rolls-Royce Meteor 4B engines that were reconned. Well, this one was reconned in 1991 at Warminster. Quite a nice little find, really. Quite pleased with these pair of engines, to be fair. Original crates, looking a bit mouldy, but in pretty good condition. Very hard to find them still like this. They're getting a bit hard to get hold of nowadays. This one was reconned in 1992, 610 horsepower. Unusual find. We also picked up a reconditioned gearbox. Looks a little bit dirty, but it is reconditioned. And a reconditioned clutch for the Centurion. That engine we just showed you there was actually a friend of mine who's planning to put that inside a car, and we just had the job of running it up for him. So those 2 in the crate will be identical to that, but we're going to fit one of them in this Centurion Avery, so that'll be the job we'll be doing after the new year. So we're going to take it out, wash everything, paint the engine bay all in here before we fit the new engine, and try and tidy it up nicely for the customer. The radiators are in a bit of a poor state, need a clean, but should make a nice vehicle. We've also got to deactivate the gun for shipping rules, basically. Although it is deactivated for UK standard, to ship it, we actually have to cut the breech in half, if you like, flush down where the breech would slide up. So I've got to chop that off with the gas. Not a very nice job. It's in reasonable condition inside the turret on this one, actually. Not a bad vehicle. Yeah, I think the customer will be quite pleased with this. There's the old T34. So also, talking about deactivating, WhistlinDiesels Tank, obviously over there. I'm sorry that I keep calling it an M1 Abrams. That is a joke. If you haven't seen his video, probably watch it. So this is actually part of the gun on the Chieftain. I've had to gas out inside the barrel in the expansion chamber. That's part of the deactivation progress. And under the commander's cupola here is the half breech block they've had to cut off the back of the gun. It's quite a massive job, and I'll show you how I did it. So I apologise about the poor video. I do a lot on TikTok, so this is actually taken the wrong way. So that bit of metal I showed you, that was gassed out of there in the expansion chamber in the gun. And obviously I'm going to show you now how I actually removed the breech from the vehicle to gas it in half, and it was quite an involved job. I had to make some tools up to do this. Not too difficult, but took a bit of head scratching, to be honest. I suppose if you had the original tools for the job, it'd be easy, but I didn't, and I wasn't planning on waiting around to try and get some. I just made do and mend and made some myself. So you basically have to use its interference thread, so you just turn the gun half a turn, and then you can actually pull it out. Here I am doing it with a little steel forklift, and then the next job is to try and lift the back of the breech off. However, you need a special lifting device to do this, because obviously the turret roof is in the way. So I obviously didn't have this lifting thing, so I got 2 Grasser plates off an old Terex bulldozer. I got a bit of I-beam, and I made my own. It actually worked pretty well. Although my welding isn't amazing, it didn't need to be fantastic for this job. Although it is very heavy, the back of the breech. However, my welding didn't snap, so I was quite pleased with that. It was a bit of a fiddle to get it out. Obviously, I had to remove the commander's cupola to do this, which was a fairly big job in itself. And then the next job was to gas it in half. I went through about 3 bottles of oxygen, gassing this in half, and about 3 chisels as I was trying to chisel it open. The heat knackered up the temper on the chisels. So, and many hours of sledgehammering. Really did take some cracking this old girl. Very thick steel. It would have been a lot easier if the breech hadn't have been welded in, but sadly, of course, it was. So that made cutting it a nightmare. But there we go. Finally, after about 2 days of messing around with it, I managed to cut it in half, and it's still extremely heavy, even in 2 parts. Some weight in that.
Yeah.
Jesus. However, now I've cut it in half, I've still got to refit the bit back on the gun, else the gun could fall out. So I didn't actually video that, but obviously now I've got that refitted. This is looking inside the tank now. I've actually put that half breech back on so the gun doesn't actually fall out. Bolted it back to the accumulators. When you look down the barrel, you can actually see the area that I chopped out. And it's extremely thick metal, this breech. So you can understand why it took a lot of gassing through, and I did not want to do that in the turret itself. The turret is a little bit scabby in here inside, but considering the age of the vehicle, it's not too awful. Would paint up fairly well, to be fair. Okay, well, it's Christmas Eve. I've had enough. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all that rubbish.
You think, Ted?
I'll leave you with one last clip of the V12 running up for the last time.